There are two ways to avoid probate. I'm going to explain which one might fit your situation the best. I'm Kellen Bryant, board certified elder law attorney. The two ways to avoid probate are through some sort of beneficiary designation or trust. Which one's right for you? The beneficiary designations are things you can do with your accounts that with the bank or deed that says when I pass away, this is where the account or property goes to. That's typically called a beneficiary designation. If you double click and look at it more specifically, for life insurance policies, it's a beneficiary designation. For bank accounts, it's pay on death. For brokerage accounts, it's transfer on death. And for real estate, it's going to be called a life estate deed or ladybird deed. Contra to that is a revocable living trust. A revocable living trust would be the new owner of your assets. And then the revocable trust document itself would explain what happens to the asset once you pass away. Now, the biggest difference between the two is contingency protection. So what do I mean by that is what happens if the beneficiary you name does not survive you? What happens if the asset that you have and you want to go to a specific person is not tied to that specific person if you were to move it? And so that's contingencies. That's what attorneys practice on, is addressing contingencies and second order effects. So in the world of trust, the trust design in the wording in your trust are specific instructions on where your assets would go. Of course, there's logical situations where, like, if I pass away, my wife gets everything. If she passes away, my kids get everything equally. That can be covered in a trust. But if you have the larger estate you have, and the number of assets you have and the number of family you have, the more complex those beneficiaries can be. And that's where the trust really helps to streamline everything. Whereas the beneficiary designations, if the person that you've named as a beneficiary does not survive you, a lot more questions can occur of what happens to that money, and the direction where that money goes is a little bit more inflexible. With deeds, it can cause even more problems with title if somebody you name on a deed predeceases you. And so that's the big difference, but is flexibility of trust, inflexibility of beneficiary designations. Which one you do depends on your age, number of assets, and family members who you want to leave something with. If you have any questions, comment below.